I'm Justin Davis, and this is Drone Camps RC. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Justin Davis from Drone Camps RC, and check out what I have here today. Look how small this little guy is. This is a tiny little quad, a new micro brushless, and this is another Furibee. This is a GT90. It has 1104 7500 kV motors, and it has a pretty nice camera on here. This is a 2.1mm lens, and very similar to something out there like a Foxeer camera or little micro run cam Swift that you guys have been seeing on a lot of micro brushless. It also has 10 amp BL Heli ESCs on here, so I'm assuming that the burst would go all the way up to about 16, and you might even be able to run this one on 3S, so that might be a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to fly on 2S, as you'll see coming up in the line of sight review and the FPV experience that I had with it. But mine came with a receiver on there already. You can see the bind button over here at the very bottom, and the VTX is actually riding on top, which is not really something I typically like. I like to see those that they're embedded under here. You do have a little bit of extra space, but not enough to get this down in there. So they put it on top, so that's going to be the way it is. But it came with these 1935 style props also, and I'm not a huge fan of these. These are those 5-blade props that you guys have seen me kind of toss to the side in previous videos. Now, what I would suggest flying on this one, and it flies great with this setup right here, this is the 2035 Gem fan props. Those are absolutely awesome. I'll try to put a link down below for these, but it completely changes the flying characteristic of this quad. Now also, what I noticed, there's not a ton of tilt for the camera, so I actually took a couple pieces of cardboard paper and just kind of stacked this up a little bit higher, and I don't have even probably 25 degrees of tilt, but the way that the FOV is on this camera, I was actually able to get a pretty nice field of view flying around the playground and out in the field. It seems to be just fine. And that little camera is rocking 700 TVL, so it actually is a pretty nice high resolution camera. And it was a little bit cloudy on the day that I flew it, and it seemed to do fine. It's not totally behind the frame of the quad, which I would like to see. You can see how it sticks out like that. That's not a super good thing, so I'm gonna say that's one con of this frame design. And there's not a whole lot of room back behind here for this to be able to get more tilt, because it's basically running into the flight controller. We're just running out of space right here, so that's kind of another con about this frame. But the bars over top of this flight controller and ESC combo down here, they do their job at protecting everything inside here. Even when I was bashing around in the playground, as you'll see here coming up, I did smack into a few things. Now, I believe this is an Omnibus F3 flight controller in here, so it's pretty standard. It's probably some type of a clone of the original one, but it does tune out pretty well on the default PIDs. It didn't have a lot of vibrations on here, so that was good. On the very top end, I got a little bit of vibration, but that was only when I had a bent prop. And that happens from time to time. When you crash, you come in and you have a little bit of a tweak on one of the blades, and that just affects a lot of the flying characteristic. So look out for that when you're flying these. But these Gemfan 2035s, it really wakes this quad up and kind of lets these 1104s run a little bit smoother with this F3 flight controller. So props do make the difference, guys. Don't run cheap props. The ones that usually come with them, they're not that great. So go ahead, when you make an order for one of these, if you do, go ahead and get a handful of these extra props. You'll thank me later. But the video transmitter on top, it is a 25 milliwatt, and like I said, it's kind of running on top. I had to bend it up a little bit to kind of keep it out of the way of the props. When I first got it in the box, it was sitting down like this, and that's not so great. You want to have your antenna up so it's coming out this direction, so you get the best signal while you're flying. And you also have a frequency chart table here, and it looks like we have bands A, B, C, D, E, and F on there, 8 channels on each band, so quite a few different bands you can choose from. And it looks like you can run FlySky receivers on here as well. Their suggested capacity, if you're looking to order batteries, 2 to 3S, it says capacity 400 milliamp all the way up to 600 milliamp. I would probably run 5 to 600 on this to be on the safe side. My 350 milliamp batteries, they were getting drained pretty quickly by these 1104s and this power system, so I would go 5 to 600 milliamp for sure. On a 3S, you're going to get way more power out of this, and it's really where this quad is going to start to shine on 3S. Now they recommend 50C if you can get something better, GNB batteries, maybe 50C or 75C or 100C, so they say, a little better would be even better for this quad. Flight time 5 to 8 minutes. I think it's more like three, maybe 3.5 minutes if you're on a cruising kind of flying session. Now the frame itself, it's not super thick. Let me just go ahead and measure this for you. The arms, I believe they're 2mm, I want to say, but they might be even thinner than that. I didn't get any flexing. This bottom plate looks like 1.5, so I'm pretty sure that it's a unibody, so the whole thing is about 1.5, and it does have motor dampeners underneath each motor, which is kind of nice. I see a little bit of plastic underneath each motor, and they also have rubber dampeners underneath the ESCs in here, so they were thinking about hiding some of that vibration coming from the power system to the flight controller accelerometer, so that was good. That's why this flies a little bit better. But today my first impressions of this out in the field, I put the first battery on there, and it didn't come with any batteries in the box, so all you get in the box is the Fire Dancer 98mm itself, little mini, and you get 2 sets of these props, and that's pretty much all I got in the box, and my receiver. So no battery is kind of a bummer. For the price, I feel like it should come with a battery or 2 to make this a good deal. I really think Furibee should include some batteries with this. Maybe mine was different than yours. Let me know if you get a battery with yours. But what I would suggest is those GNB batteries that are on Gearbest site. I think those are like around $6 a piece or $8. They're totally worth it because the C rating is high enough to really get a nice reaction out of these 1104s, and that's what you want. You want a nice peppy power system and a nice decent battery. You're going to get the best flight time out of those type of batteries, 500 and 600 milliamp. But I was excited to see that they had a Fire Dancer Mini, because a lot of guys have been talking about the Fire Dancer series coming out, and you guys have wanted to see me review this for quite some time, and I didn't really realize that they had a mini one, because the larger big brother to it just came in the door as well. So pretty neat looking series of quads, and this one will be coming up on the channel too. This one is pretty insane looking. It does have 2306, 2400, boom. So 2306s are gonna like take you through the roof as far as your power goes, and it looks like quite a large stack inside there, and it's almost kind of a lowrider situation they have going on there with that stack. Everything is dampened up in that one too, so super narrow replaceable arms on the bottom. But we'll get to this review a little bit later. I think you guys are going to like this one a lot. This one is pretty wild looking. And a lot of guys have been excited about that Fire Dancer series, so maybe I'll give that one away on the channel. We'll have to see. But today we're all about the little mini, so let's go ahead out in the field and see how this little micro does in comparison to some other more popular ones out there. I think this one's somewhere in the middle. I wouldn't say this one is going to be the top 5 micro brushless on my channel, but I think it's a pretty cool looking little quad, and it flew pretty decent too. So let's go ahead out to the field and let's do a little bit of line of sight on this guy, and then we'll do some FPV. Alright guys, let's give this little GT90 Fire Dancer Mini a little flight test. It's a pretty cool looking little quad, so let's go ahead and get it up in the air. Here we go. Now this is flying on 2S and 1104, so you know it's going to be a pretty mild flyer compared to something like the Baby Hawk R, so pretty good for beginners. Not a ton of punch out. Very mild flyer. I'm flying an Acro right now. Not too bad. It's pretty cold right now though, so I'm probably going to get a pretty short battery life. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one on the ground, and let's get it airborne for you. We'll do one little punch out real quick. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Not a huge punch out, and it might be the cold and the battery itself, but let's go ahead and get airborne with some FPV. Here we go. Bring the noise!
you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place. Singing, a big disgrace, waving your banner all over the place. Make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got spot on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing.